The unexpected paradigm. The interstellar research vessel Luminara hung silently in the vast darkness, its advanced cloaking systems rendering it invisible to conventional detection methods. Commander Zara Velox, lead xenobiological researcher of the Galactic Observational Corps, studied the blue-green planet rotating below with a mixture of professional detachment and growing curiosity. Earth had been under systematic observation for decades, classified as a developing species of moderate technological potential. The standard protocol was clear: observe, document, and wait until the species reached a predetermined technological threshold before making any form of contact. But something about this planet, about these humans, felt different. Anomaly detected in Sector 7, Lieutenant Cross announced, his three-fingered hands dancing across the holographic interface. Unusual electromagnetic signatures originating from the third planet's orbital research station. Zara leaned forward, her iridescent scales shifting color with her rising interest. The human space station was a primitive construct by galactic standards, a mere shell of metal and technology that should have been completely oblivious to their presence. Yet the reading suggested otherwise. Enhance visual, she commanded. The main viewing screen sharpened, revealing two human astronauts performing what appeared to be routine maintenance. But their movements were anything but routine. Instead of following standard procedural paths, they seemed to be systematically scanning the space around them, their motions deliberate and calculated. "They're not following expected behavioral patterns," Cross noted, a hint of concern in his voice. "Our predictive models suggest a 99.8% probability of standard maintenance protocols." Zara's experienced eyes narrowed. The humans were looking directly toward their location, a location that should be completely undetectable. One of the astronauts raised a hand, pointing precisely at where the Luminara was positioned. "Impossible," Zara muttered. Their cloaking technology was the most advanced in the known galaxy, capable of bending light, radar, and electromagnetic waves around the vessel. No developing species should have been able to penetrate even the most basic layers of their concealment. Suddenly, a communication device in the astronaut's hand began emitting complex scanning waves, probing the exact coordinates of the hidden vessel. The precision was remarkable, almost as if they had known exactly where to look. "They're scanning us," Cross reported, his voice a mixture of disbelief and growing alarm. "But the technology doesn't match any known human development index." What happened next defied every expectation of first contact scenarios documented in galactic records. The astronauts didn't panic. They didn't scramble for military defenses. Instead, they waved, casually and confidently, directly at the invisible ship. Even more shocking, a communication transmission emerged. Clear. Direct. Almost friendly. To the vessel in stationary orbit at these coordinates, the human voice announced with remarkable calm, "We've been expecting you. Would you like to talk?" Zara felt a chill run through her. Thousands of species had been observed throughout galactic history. Thousands of first contact scenarios had been meticulously documented. And in every single one, the discovered species responded with fear, aggression, religious hysteria, or complete denial. But these humans? They were offering to have a conversation. As if discovering an alien research vessel was no more remarkable than encountering a new neighbor. "Lieutenant Cross," Zara said slowly, "run a full diagnostic on our systems. Confirm we are, in fact, completely undetectable by conventional means." Cross's fingers flew across the interface. After several moments, he looked up, his normally stoic expression replaced by genuine confusion. "All systems confirm maximum concealment. By all scientific understanding, they should not be able to see us. Yet they could. And they were waiting. Waiting for a response." The implications were staggering. If humans could detect a perfectly cloaked vessel, what else might they be capable of? What other assumptions about their technological and psychological development might be fundamentally wrong? Zara knew one thing with absolute certainty: the report she would file would change everything the Galactic Observational Corps understood about emerging intelligent species. Humanity was not what they had been led to believe. Not even close. Technological breakthrough, beyond limitations. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that did not officially exist, Dr. Victor Reyes studied the fragments of alien technology with a mixture of scientific precision and unbridled excitement. The detection of the alien observation vessel was just the beginning. Now came the real challenge of understanding and reverse engineering technologies that should have been centuries beyond human comprehension. Quantum entanglement stabilization at 78%, reported Dr. Elena Rodriguez, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface that looked more like an art installation than a scientific instrument. We're breaking through their communication encryption faster than projected. The research facility was a marvel of international cooperation and secrecy. Scientists from every major nation worked side by side, their usual political rivalries set aside by the magnitude of their discovery. Military personnel, tech experts, linguists, and theoretical physicists formed an unprecedented collaborative network. Victor examined a palm-sized fragment of alien technology, recovered through means that would remain classified for decades. Its surface seemed to shimmer between solid and liquid states, defying conventional understanding of material science. Traditional scanning methods revealed nothing. It was as if the object existed in multiple states of reality simultaneously. We're not just studying their technology, Victor explained to a group of senior researchers, we're reimagining the fundamental principles of technological development. Every assumption we've made about physics, communication, and energy transfer is being challenged. The alien observation mission had unknowingly provided humanity with its most significant technological leap. By attempting to remain hidden, the extraterrestrial researchers had exposed vulnerabilities in their own advanced systems, vulnerabilities that human ingenuity was quickly exploiting. In a secure communications hub, a team of specialists worked on decoding the electromagnetic signatures detected during the initial encounter. What seemed like random noise to traditional analysis was slowly revealing itself as a complex communication network with multiple layers of encryption. It's like they're speaking multiple languages simultaneously, remarked Dr. Kamil Hassan, a linguist specializing in cryptographic communication. Each layer of their transmission contains multiple levels of meaning. They're not just communicating, they're creating a deliberate puzzle. The implications were staggering. The alien observers had been watching humanity for decades, believing they were studying a primitive species. Instead, they had inadvertently provided humanity with the most advanced technological blueprints imaginable. Victor's team had already developed prototype quantum communication arrays that could penetrate the aliens' most advanced cloaking technologies. Small research outposts were being established in discrete locations throughout the solar system, locations carefully chosen to remain just beneath the aliens' detection threshold. We're building our capabilities in plain sight, Victor explained during a classified briefing. They're watching us, but they're seeing exactly what we want them to see. Every technological limitation they believe we have is a carefully constructed illusion. Outside the mountain facility, a network of satellites continued their silent observation. Some were official, tracked by international space agencies. Others existed only in classified reports, their capabilities far beyond anything publicly acknowledged. The quantum communication team had made a breakthrough that would forever change humanity's trajectory. They had not just intercepted alien communications, they had begun to understand the fundamental language of advanced technological communication. We're not trying to match their technology, Elena remarked during a late-night strategy session. We're learning to speak an entirely new technological language. And we're doing it faster than they could ever imagine. In the vast darkness of space, the alien research vessel Luminara continued its observation, completely unaware that the species they considered a minor curiosity was rapidly becoming something far more dangerous, a civilization capable of turning surveillance into an art of technological revolution. Humanity was preparing. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming. Psychological warfare, the human wild card. The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber was a marvel of architectural precision, a perfect sphere suspended in space, its crystalline walls reflecting the collective wisdom of thousands of stellar civilizations. Today, those walls seem to close in with an unusual tension as representatives from across the galaxy gathered to discuss the unprecedented situation presented by humanity. High Counselor Trax, a being whose species had guided galactic development for millennia, reviewed the preliminary reports with growing unease. The human capacity for adaptation defied every known psychological profile in their extensive databases. They detected our observation vessel, Trax began, his multifaceted eyes scanning the assembled council, not with panic or aggression, but with what can only be described as curiosity. Our most advanced cloaking technology was rendered obsolete by a species we categorized as technologically primitive. Ambassador Lyra from the Nexus Confederation leaned forward, her translucent skin rippling with concern. Psychological profiles suggest this is impossible. No emerging species responds to first contact with such calculated calm. Their reactions violate every known developmental protocol. The holographic display shifted, showing fragments of intercepted human communications. Unlike typical first contact scenarios, filled with fear, religious fervor, or military posturing, these humans spoke with a disconcerting blend of scientific curiosity and casual invitation. We've analyzed over 10,000 communication instances, reported analyst Corin, projecting a complex web of linguistic and psychological data. Humans demonstrate a unique ability to simultaneously process threat, opportunity, and intellectual curiosity. They don't just adapt, they transform the very context of interaction. A series of recorded transmissions played, each more bewildering than the last. In one, human representatives discussed potential interstellar communication as casually as one might plan a weekend gathering. In another, they proposed technological exchange protocols that suggested not just understanding, but a fundamental reimagining of galactic interaction. They're playing a game we don't even understand the rules of, Trax muttered, a rare moment of uncertainty breaking through his typically composed demeanor. The psychological warfare was subtle yet profound. Humans weren't attempting to dominate through traditional means, military might, technological superiority, or aggressive expansion. Instead, they were systematically challenging every fundamental assumption about species development, communication, and potential. Ambassador Lyra pulled up a comparative analysis. Look at their response mechanisms. When confronted with the unknown, most species retreat, attack, or worship. Humans. They deconstruct, analyze, and then reimagine. It's not just adaptation, it's a complete reconstruction of the encounter. Intercepted human research documents revealed an even more unsettling pattern. They weren't just studying the alien technology, they were studying the psychological frameworks of galactic civilization itself. Every communication, every detected scan was a deliberate probe, collecting data not just about technology, but about how different species think, react, and interact. They're turning our observation into their own research project, Corin noted, a hint of reluctant admiration in his voice. We thought we were studying them. In reality, they've been studying us all along. The most disturbing reports came from human cultural archives, vast libraries of fiction, scientific speculation, and philosophical discourse that had been preparing for extraterrestrial contact for centuries. While other species might have mythological or religious interpretations of alien life, humans had developed entire frameworks of potential interaction. Their entertainment media, Trax said, reviewing a compilation of human science fiction, doesn't just imagine alien contact. It creates sophisticated models of potential interactions, psychological responses, and technological exchanges. They've been preparing for this moment through imagination. The council chamber grew silent. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just a species to be categorized and controlled. They were a dynamic, unpredictable force that could potentially reshape the very foundations of galactic civilization. We must decide how to proceed, Trax announced, his voice carrying the weight of millennia of galactic leadership. Do we attempt to contain them? Redirect their development? Or do we acknowledge that we're dealing with something entirely unprecedented? As the council deliberated, none of them noticed the small monitoring device quietly transmitting their entire conversation, a device that had been carefully placed by the human representative, who was already analyzing their response. The psychological warfare wasn't about conquest. It was about understanding. And in that understanding lay a potential more dangerous than any weapon, the ability to fundamentally change the rules of engagement. Humanity was writing a new chapter in galactic history. And they were doing it with a smile. Galactic confrontation, challenging the status quo. The diplomatic vessel Horizon cut through space with a precision that belied its relatively simple design. Commander Rachel Brennan stood at the forward observation deck, her gaze fixed on the massive crystalline structure of the Galactic Council's central chamber. Years of preparation, decades of covert development, and centuries of human imagination had led to this moment. Preliminary scans complete, Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez reported from the communications station. They're running every possible security protocol, but our systems are already 3 steps ahead. The human delegation was unlike any diplomatic mission in galactic history. Instead of a massive military escort or a show of technological superiority, they arrived with a small team of specialists, scientists, diplomats, cultural experts, and one former stand-up comedian who specialized in cross-cultural communication. As they approached the council chamber, Rachel reviewed the briefing documents. The goal wasn't conquest. It wasn't even full disclosure. It was a carefully orchestrated demonstration of human potential, a chess match where the board was galactic politics and the pieces were perceptions. The chamber's massive doors opened with a sound that was part mechanical, part musical, a deliberate architectural choice meant to inspire awe in visiting species. For most delegates, it worked perfectly. For the human team, it was just another interesting piece of cultural engineering to analyze. High Counselor Trax, whose species had guided galactic development for millennia, approached with a mixture of caution and barely concealed curiosity. The preliminary psychological profiles had proven catastrophically inadequate, and the Council was desperate to understand the true nature of humanity. Commander Brennan, Trax began, his multifaceted eyes reflecting light in complex patterns, your arrival represents an unprecedented breach of established first contact protocols. Rachel smiled, not a diplomatic smile, but a genuine expression of intellectual excitement. We're here to have a conversation, not to apologize for existing. The chamber was designed to make visitors feel small, its vast dimensions and intricate holographic displays were meant to overwhelm and impress. The human delegation moved through the space with a casual confidence that was itself a form of psychological warfare. You've been observing us for decades, Rachel continued, collecting data, making assumptions. We thought it was time we had a more direct dialogue. Behind her, Dr. Imani Okeke, a quantum physicist with a background in comparative xenobiology, began setting up a holographic presentation. It wasn't a display of human technological might, but a carefully curated exploration of human potential, showing not what they could destroy, but what they could create. The presentation defied every expectation. Instead of showcasing weapons or technological superiority, it demonstrated human adaptive capabilities. Footage showed scientific breakthroughs, cultural innovations, artistic achievements, a tapestry of human potential that was simultaneously complex and accessible. We're not asking for permission, Marcus interjected, we're offering collaboration. The council members exchanged glances. This wasn't the confrontation they had prepared for. This was something far more dangerous, an invitation to reimagine the very foundations of galactic interaction. Dr. Okeke's presentation moved through various scenarios, technological challenges solved through human creativity, cultural barriers overcome through empathy, complex problems approached with a unique blend of analytical thinking and emotional intelligence. Our strength isn't in our current technology, she explained, it's in our capacity to learn, adapt, and fundamentally reimagine possibilities. A senior military representative from the Nexus Confederation interrupted. And what prevents you from becoming a threat? Your rapid technological development is driven by curiosity, not conquest, Rachel completed the thought. We're not interested in replacing your galactic order. We're interested in expanding it. The chamber fell silent. The human delegation had arrived not as conquerors, not as supplicants, but as potential partners. They weren't asking to be accepted, they were demonstrating why acceptance was in everyone's best interest. As the presentation concluded, High Counselor Trax realized something profound: humanity wasn't just another species to be managed. They were a fundamental variable that could reshape the entire galactic equation. The confrontation wasn't about dominance. It was about potential. And potential, as the humans were about to demonstrate, was humanity's most dangerous weapon. Adaptive resistance, survival's true nature. The research outpost on Titan's frigid surface was humanity's first true test of extraterrestrial survival. Established in complete secrecy, it represented more than just a scientific installation, it was a statement of human determination and adaptability. Dr. Valeria Sokolov watched the methane storms rage outside the reinforced dome, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface that integrated data from multiple parallel research streams. The outpost was a marvel of interdisciplinary engineering, part scientific research facility, part survival experiment, and part technological proving ground. Atmospheric stabilization at 97%, reported technical specialist Raj Patel. We're generating more energy from the local environment than our initial projections suggested. What the Galactic Council didn't understand was that humanity's true strength lay not in military might or technological superiority, but in an almost impossible capacity to adapt. Every challenge was an opportunity, every limitation a puzzle to be solved. The Titan facility was conducting research that would have been considered impossible by any other species. They weren't just studying how to survive in extreme conditions, they were actively reshaping those conditions to suit human needs. Terraforming wasn't just a theoretical concept, it was becoming a practical methodology. Deep within the facility's secure communications hub, a team of linguistic and communication experts worked on something far more complex than simple translation. They were developing a comprehensive framework for interspecies communication that went beyond language, a system that could bridge fundamentally different modes of perception and understanding. It's not about translating words, Dr. Elena Rodriguez explained during a strategy briefing, it's about translating context, intention, and potential. The outpost had multiple layers of concealment. To casual observation, even from the most advanced alien scanning technologies, it would appear as nothing more than a routine scientific installation. The real work happened in layers invisible to conventional detection. Quantum communication arrays developed in the Mountain Research Facility were now being field-tested. These weren't just communication devices, they were adaptive network systems that could reconfigure themselves based on environmental challenges, learning and evolving in real time. A priority communication arrived from Earth, encoded through a communication method that would appear as random background radiation to any external observers. Inside the facility, it resolved into a clear strategic update. The Galactic Council's initial response to the human delegation had been predictably bureaucratic. Subcommittees had been formed, additional observation protocols suggested, potential containment strategies discussed. What they didn't realize was that every moment of deliberation was another moment humanity used to advance its capabilities. They're treating us like a mathematical problem to be solved, Valeria muttered, reviewing the latest intercepted council communications. They don't understand that we're not a problem. We're a living, evolving solution. The facility's primary research had multiple streams. On the surface, geological and environmental studies. Beneath that, advanced materials research. And at the deepest level, a comprehensive study of adaptive survival technologies that could potentially transform not just human capabilities, but the very understanding of technological development. Raj pointed to a particularly complex holographic model. Look at how the quantum communication arrays are self-modifying. We're not just creating technology, we're creating technological ecosystems that can survive and thrive in any environment. A small team was even working on biological adaptation technologies, not just protecting human life in extreme conditions, but fundamentally understanding how biological systems could be enhanced and protected. The Titan outpost was more than a research facility. It was a statement, a demonstration that humanity's true strength was its capacity to turn any environment from a challenge into an opportunity. As the methane storms continued to rage outside, inside the dome human researchers continued their work. They weren't just surviving. They were preparing. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming.